What is spotted dick? We're starting an adventure to find some of the weirdest desserts from around the world, starting right here at home in the UK with the infamous spotted dick, a Victorian dessert that's been around since the 1800s. It first appeared in a cookbook, The Modern Housewife, in 1849. I'm gonna try my best to say spotted dick with a straight face for as long as I can physically manage, so please place all jokes in the comment section so the algorithm knows that you're having a good time. Okay, let's talk pudding. Proper old school British steamed suet pudding dotted with dried fruit. The spots are the currants and the raisins, and the dick, we'll talk about that part in a minute. So what actually is it? It's a soft speckled steamed sponge made with flour, suet, which is the raw hard animal fat typically found around the kidneys and loins of cattle and sheep. Sounds delicious. But you can also use vegetable suet too, which is made from refined vegetable oils mixed with flour. You also need sugar, I'm using caster sugar, currants, cinnamon, eggs, and milk. So let's start making this thing and we'll talk more about it as we go. You're gonna start by mixing together the currants and the flour. Then you add in the cinnamon and the sugar and just mix these all together. Almost smells like a cinnamon raisin cookie right now. Cinnamon raisin, oatmeal raisin. Then you add in the suet and just mix this in. And then just set this aside. So the dish turns up in the mid-19th century, which was the golden era for steamed puddings. Alexis Soyer literally prints the phrase plum bolster or spotted dick in the Modern Housewife cookbook. Victorian clickbait, and it worked. The name has stuck around for over 170 years. So in a separate bowl, you're gonna whisk the 2 eggs and then add half the milk and whisk until combined. You're going to add this into the dry mixture and start to mix it together. Keep mixing and slowly add in the remaining milk. You may not need all of it. You want the dough to still be firm rather than sloppy, otherwise it's going to be really difficult to work with. If your dough does get a little bit too wet, then you can always add in a little bit more flour. Over the years, spotted dick became a staple in homes, canteens, schools, the army, you name it. It was cheap to make, filling, and survives the British weather and banter. By the 20th century, it's a school dinner legend, warm slice, lots of custard, and a table of teenagers attempting not to lose it over the name. Now to cook our pudding. Nowadays, most people would cook this in a pudding mold, just like you would Christmas pudding, but traditionally, it was cooked in a pudding cloth, which gives it that cylinder shape. So I'm just gonna soak our pudding cloth in boiling water for about 10 minutes just to make sure it's nice and clean. Now you're just gonna lay it out on a flat surface and we're gonna sprinkle it with flour so our pudding doesn't stick. gonna dump out our pudding into the middle of the cloth and form it into a long log shape. Okay, rings off for this part. There we go, that looks like a good spotted dick to me. Now we need to roll it up as tightly as possible in the cloth. Now we can shape it a bit better. And then just twist the ends so it looks like a cracker. Then grab a piece of string and tie it around one end, then tie it around the other end, creating a loop, almost like a handle for your pudding. There we go. Now to cook this, we're gonna boil it in a pan for around 1.5 to 2 hours, tucking in the cloth and placing the lid on top. Let's talk about the name drama and controversy around spotted dick. Every decade or so, someone tries to rebrand dick. In 2009, a canteen in Flintshire County Council quietly changed the name to Spotted Richard to cut down on, I quote, sniggering by customers. The public wrote in, the council blushed, and dick returned to duty. One report put it simply, it was restored after complaints about its politically correct replacement. I mean, you just can't keep a classic down. Cooked pudding. I'm gonna let it cool slightly because it's very hot right now. So I think you've waited long enough. Let's talk about where the dick part came from. The Victorians loved to mangle words, so pudding became puddink, and then pudick, and then just dick. Food historians and old dialect dictionaries say that dick was once a plain way to say pudding or dough. There's even a 19th century glossary from Huddersfield that defines it very politely as dick, plain pudding. So for example, if it were a treacle pudding, it would be treacle dick, which actually sounds quite nice. Meanwhile, dog is a dialect form of dough, which is why you also hear spotted dog. So the name quite literally means spotted pudding. Not quite as exciting as we all would have hoped, but we can keep the jokes anyway. So let's serve up our dick. I don't know how I feel about this. There we go, there is our pudding. I'm not sure how I feel about the look of it right now, but it's about the taste, so I'm gonna slice it up and put it onto a plate, and I'm gonna serve it with custard. It looks very solid. Right now, I actually like my custard cold, so I'm gonna spoon on some cold custard. Oh, yum, I love custard. All right, now for the moment of truth. Does it taste good? Oh, it's quite soft. Not quite as firm as I thought it was gonna be. You know what? I actually really like that. The outside, I'm not quite as keen on. It feels like a little bit fatty, but the taste is really good. It's fruity from the currants, and I can taste the cinnamon, but it's not overpowering in any flavor. It's just quite a nice, firm, puddingy, like moist, soft texture. I don't know. Can something be firm and soft at the same time? I would make this again. This is actually really nice. It feels a little bit festive as well. Like, it does remind me a bit of Christmas pudding, which I love. Out of all the puddings I've had, like Christmas pudding, treacle puddings, jam puddings, sticky toffee puddings, I'm gonna rate this a 6.5 out of 10. It's not my favorite, but it's also not bad. Now let's finish with what you've all been waiting for, some harmless spotted dick jokes. This might be a good place to end for any children watching right now. If your dick is spotted, you might want a doctor. If it's spotted dick with custard, you're in for a good time. You don't need protection for this dick, just a spoon. Don't worry, it's perfectly normal to get excited when someone offers you spotted dick. And finally, a dick you can proudly share with your entire family. And on that note, I think it's time to end. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know what weird dessert I should try next, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Now, let's finish with what you've all been waiting for, some harmless dick jokes. No, spotted dick jokes. That was my best one.